Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is April the 21st, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Monday. Happy Garfield Day to you. Hopefully you got that lasagna. Hopefully it was nice and hot. You even got a chance to get some seconds of that thing. I want to say in preface, today was a good day. It was solid, top to bottom, good. Internally, though, I had some struggles, and we'll get to them. Some were tummy related in a good way because we ate really well, and we'll get to that later as well. But others were just for some things that came up that I will lightly touch on. But we'll start with today. Monday, we went to work, we hit that grind. Overall, today was not too busy, but we more or less stayed at it all day, and that was fine. After work, we went to the gym. Gym was good. It was solid. Definitely a busy Monday, but so it goes. I've been kind of, tweaking my workout a little bit. And I think now I'm finally going to have this adjustment period where I don't go as hard at the top of the week. And then towards the end of the week where it starts to lighten up, starts to be a little bit busy, I can go a little bit harder, have more access to the machines, at least have a better chance of that, right? So I think that should work out. But, this is always a work in progress. We're always doing little tweaks here and there, which is nice, and that feels good. But yeah, overall, workout was good. Also, shout out to my ankle. It really showed up. It was strong. It was solid. No problem. So it was nice to be able to have a good cardio session again. We love that. So yeah, that was today. I was definitely, though, at a funk at work up until the gym. I finally, throughout the day, I got a chance to kind of talk to some homies, work out what was going on. But yeah, let me peel it back, and then, like I said, we'll get to it. Last night, though, we had Easter dinner. It was fun in a way. It was good in a lot of ways. I did get a fun Easter basket as well, filled with all kinds of goodies and treats, and I'm very thankful and appreciative of that. That was solid. That was nice. Let's see. Let me get a rundown of the food if I can remember off the top of my dome. Of course, it was a ham dinner. Good ham, delicious ham. We had a potato salad that I have to say was garnished up top, on the top of it was just covered in deviled eggs. Oh my God, it was so good. There was beans. There was two kinds of greens. There was collard greens, and then there was this Mexican style I almost want to say chopped salad of some sort. It was so good. It was so yummy. It was one of those things where you could let it kind of permeate all around your plate and it would just enhance the whole thing. It was so good. We had some biscuits. Those were good. Those were nice and yum. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on the plate that I'm missing. Maybe so. There was also a bit of a nut and cheese kind of charcuterie board situation we had as a appetizer. We had some cookies, some Oreo cookies and stuff for dessert. It was cute. It was a cute little Easter dinner, and I really enjoyed that part. And overall, I gotta say, I enjoyed most of it. This was almost business as usual. But I had to crash out, y'all. I crashed out. I let myself loose because and normally with this group of people, I never have this issue. We're all aligned on so many things, pretty much bar for bar, pound for pound. But we got on the subject of gun regulation, and I had my take, which y'all, if you go through, you run back the history, on this podcast, you could probably suss out how I feel about those things. And I was talking to a person, and then someone else chimes in, and I really did not like how they addressed me, how they talked to me in that moment. And I responded, I would say maybe poorly, a bit. And then I proceeded to kind of make it a little bit worse. And then, of course, I noticed the whole time, crickets. It's just quiet. It's just bad stares. And that sucked. because this is a group of people that like I really, I rock with, like I'm really close with. So you never like to see that. And I gotta also preface this with the fact that like, hey, at the end of the day, it's all love. It's cool. We hugged it out at the end of the day, but I definitely left shortly after that. I got my leftovers and just went. And I mean, yeah, dude, that sucked. That sucked really bad for me. I just dwelled on that all day because, like, I've said this before. Like, it just seems like I keep doing this. Like, I keep having these moments, but I also know too that there's a certain like, and maybe this is wrong, this is bad, toxic even, but I have this sense of pride of like, you're not going to talk to me that way in any kind of way that I deem is disrespectful. I don't care if we disagree. That's fine. Like at the end of the day, we can have differing opinions on, certain issues, especially something like this. Like I'm definitely down to hear you out, but like to do anything that belittles me, it's just a no-go. It's just you're gonna get what you get. Like, you're gonna get what you give. Like I don't know how else to do it. And I think sometimes, especially because, I'm supposed to be the kid who's grown up into the adult, that like maybe that's not the way that it's gonna be. But like I just don't know how else to be. I will do this to anyone. I wish to certain extents and times that I wasn't that, but like I don't know. I don't know. I'm still searching myself on that in terms of like, hey, do you do less of this? Do you do less of this crashing out, or do you stand? Do you stand on the shit? Right? I don't know. It's hard. It's hard, y'all. I'm still working through that. Growing up maybe never stops, even at 34. But yeah, I mean, I definitely though said a little bit too extra, and on that I do feel like a bit of a boner, but I don't know. It just is what it is, I guess. But outside of that one interaction, that one bad moment, really great time, really solid Easter. Of course, all the other extracurriculars that got done as well. But yeah, my stomach was hurting me the next day up until, honestly, I don't know, maybe about 30 minutes or an hour before the gym. But we rallied. Everything is good. Everything is irie. I'm honestly happy to just get it off of my chest to y'all, my dear listeners, even though it's, it's a bit of a morsel. I'm not giving you the full story there. You don't need it. But also, to any of my dear listeners out there who I hit up and I talked about this stuff just to really get some insight, or maybe not even so much insight, just get it off my chest, just vent. Sometimes I just need that, thank you. Appreciate you. That shit means a lot to me, to just have people in my corner, no matter what, you know what I mean? I think in a lot of these moments too, after it, I can feel so isolated. Like, damn, like I keep doing this. I keep spazzing out. I keep getting mad at my people, and I'm going to lose people. I'm going to be so alone. I'm going to be this grumpy old man. But then I remember like all the people who I do reach out to, and they do wind up, talking back, and they get back to me, and that's nice. And I really do appreciate that, like, so much. So, we'll leave that where that is, and let's go ahead and get into our startup. And we'll get into some news. I don't know if this is going to be too extensive of an episode, but it won't be as light as maybe, yesterday's little offbeat thing was, you know what I mean? Shit, there were some things I guess I could have covered, but it just didn't feel like, I didn't want to talk to you guys about the robots in the marathon. I think it was in China. And I'm like, I don't care about that, man. Like, cool, you made some robots run, and they didn't really do that great, but like, yay, science, that's cool. And then I think there was some like, there was a story about some drugs and fish. Like it was like going through the sewer system, and the fish are all high, and it's fucking up their swimming powders and shit. That was awesome. Some other stuff, but I didn't think about that at the time. And technically, it's like, whatever. It's old news now anyway. You can look it up if you want. Anyway, let's get into this the normal episode. Ooh. Also, I don't know why I keep feeling compelled to regulate this to side news and not completely cover it on a main. But Harvard, the battle between Harvard and the Trump administration is still raging. On top of the north of $2.2 billion that the Trump administration is trying to withhold from Harvard unless they, comply to their commands. I think they are trying to make it so like foreign exchange students or like students from out of the country won't be able to go. Like they're just trying to attack them from any and all angle they can. And now Harvard has said, hey, we are going to sue the Trump administration. So that is an update there. That I was like, oh, I wasn't going to cover that yet, but I'm just like throwing it off the top of the dome so we don't have to hit it later. How's that sound? Anyway, so there's that battle is raging on. Y'all know how I feel about that more or less. Of course, I'm rooting for Harvard there. Boo the Trump administration. So yeah, but speaking of the Trump administration, that is more or less where we're gonna start. We're gonna start with our darling Pete Hegseth. He's back in the fucking spotlight again. Another bad signal. Let's get into it. From The Independent. Hegseth shared Yemen attack details in second signal chat that included his wife and brother, report says. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shared details of an upcoming military strike against the Houthi group in Yemen in a second signal chat, which included his own wife and brother, according to the New York Times. The paper says details, including flight schedules for the warplanes involved, were shared in the group chat on March 15th. The claims follow shock revelations last month that the upcoming strike was discussed by senior administration figures, including Pete Hegseth, Vice President J.D. Vance, and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz on Signal, a commercial messaging app, instead of using the high security communication systems available to them. Now, initially, Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, was the guy who spilled this story because he got, linked in, he got sent a notification into this group chat on accident. He was pulled in, but it's like, okay, I thought this was fake. Turns out it was fucking real. But it's like, dude had this group chat and then another one with his wife and brother. I think also his lawyer, now turned Pentagon employee as well, was also in this extra one. So I don't understand why he had the second one, especially. I mean, granted, both of these you shouldn't have. You can have it and you could use it for minor stuff. Once again, multiple administrations have done that. But it's the idea of saying, I'm going to use this for really, not hyper, maybe hyper is a strong word, but it's just you're using this for top secret, classified information. And Hegseth's defense is no, none of this was classified. And technically, I guess they can use this defense kind of like Trump tried to use, is that, hey, if I declassify it, it's declassified. I can do that in the moment and it's fine. It's all good. It's all on the up. But it's dog, you're playing fast and loose with the rules and you didn't even do that. You're just sharing this shit and this should be done on a more secure app. There's a government secured app that you can use. Instead, he's using this encrypted app on Signal where it's okay, I don't have to report any of this to, the government. It can be deleted, whatever. It's just comfortable for me. I just want to use it this way. And it's dog, to almost a certain extent, you can understand the one main one that you had that got you into this row in the first place. But the fact that there was another one on top of this that you were using too, I think is definitely, once again, bringing people back to the conversation of Trump should fire this guy. This guy is incompetent. We've said this before. Why is he doing this? Which there isn't a real reason for this. Now, one was, let's see, let me just read this from the top or read this from the story, whatever. Hegseth created the Signal group chat named Defense, Team Huddle, and was reportedly posting in it approximately the same time he shared the same details in the Signal group chat created by Waltz. People familiar with the group chat told the Times. The defense secretary also used his personal phone to access the Signal chat, according to the newspaper, which is wrong because you're supposed to be using all these kind of conversations. They're supposed to be had on a government device. Now, this is some news I also missed last week. The chat included Hegseth's senior advisors Dan Caldwell and Darren Selnick, according to the Times, who were recently fired after being accused of leaking unauthorized information. The pair denied the accusations in a joint statement posted on social media over the weekend. So that was the thing that had dropped, and I kind of just missed it in the shuffle and forgot about it. But I wasn't sure if that leak, and I'm still not sure, if that leak was in regards to these Signal chats or more or something else. I don't know. But apparently they're nah, we got to call these motherfuckers. They got to go. So yeah, I mean, there's been some definitely heads rolling. We had the Laura Loomer story the week prior. Then we have this as well. It's just so messy. It's just such a messy ass administration. Um, but I gotta say, I want to say this before we move on to the next thing. Do I think Hegseth will be fired? No, I don't. I don't think so. At least not yet. I think this is definitely something that Trump probably sees and doesn't like. But overall, Trump is still going to bat for this guy. He's still like a media darling to him. He just loves the cut of his jib. It's also worth noting too that Hegseth's wife is also a former producer for Fox. It's just worth mentioning. I don't really know if that actually is like, oh, well, she's going to give the secrets to Fox. I mean, she's not getting paid by them. I don't think she cares. But it's just like, you don't need to tell her. Like, you just don't need to tell her. Like, hey, sorry, I'm late at work, honey. I got to bomb the Houthis. Like, what are we doing, dog? This is weird. It's strange fucking behavior. But because this isn't new, this is the same thing. It's like a lateral. I don't know. Once again, I don't know why he had 2 signal chats for the same fucking bullshit. Like, he's just got to tell everybody that he's doing. He's like, I'm at work. I'm working. Look at me go. Like, I don't know why he had to do that, but he did it. But I don't think that this is going to be something that's going to get his head on the block. As much as I'd like it to. As much as I would love to see this guy get fucking happy trails back to wherever the fuck. You know, he can just fuck off. I don't think his time is yet. I think he's still going to get more time in the White House, in the administration. But we'll see. I would love to be wrong about this. I would love it. But yeah, I'll keep you posted on anything else that comes out of this. See if we get any more signals. But anyway, let's move on from one administration flunky to another. CNN. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem's bag, including $3,000 in cash, is stolen from D.C. restaurant. They pulled a jack move. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem fell victim to a thief while eating dinner at a downtown Washington, D.C. restaurant Sunday night, the secretary confirmed Monday. Noem, who was asked about the theft at the White House Easter egg roll, acknowledged the incident and said the matter has not been resolved. Now, I'm going to pause here. I don't know what is the Easter egg roll. I imagine it's some kind of event where they maybe roll an Easter egg for fun. I don't fucking know. But I gotta say, maybe it's just because I'm fucking hungry. An Easter egg roll. I would fuck with that. I'd fuck with that heavy. I would smash. I don't even know what would be in an Easter egg roll, but I would go for that right now. Anyway, sorry. Personal thought. The Secret Service, which provides security for Noem, reviewed security footage at the Capital Burger restaurant and saw an unknown white male wearing a medical mask steal her bag and leave the restaurant. A law enforcement source said. The thief got away with Noem's driver's license, medication, apartment keys, passport, DHS access bag, makeup bag, blank checks, and about $3,000 in cash. The Secret Service has launched an investigation to trace any use of Noem's financial instruments, the person said. Apparently her whole family was in town to go to dinner. Oh, wow, so sad. Oh, well, watch your shit better. I don't know what to tell you, dog. Guard your fucking bag, bro. Secure the bag, because otherwise someone else will. That's all I have to say about that, bro. I'm not shedding any tears over Kristi Noem and her stolen possessions. Obviously not advocating anyone to fucking steal. Don't steal. But, like, once again, do better. All that security, these motherfuckers give... Man, you hire people to work, and what do? Like, twiddle their thumbs? Jeez, man. This administration got to get it together. Anyway, let's take to the skies. Well, we were going to take to the skies. Let's get into it. From CBS News, Delta plane engine catches fire at Orlando Airport. Passengers evacuate on slides. A Delta passenger jet caught fire on the tarmac at Orlando International Airport on Monday, and passengers had to evacuate via emergency slides. The Federal Aviation Authority said Monday, or the FAA, by the way. Delta Airlines Flight 1213, bound for Atlanta, was pushing back from the gate for departure at around 11:15 a.m. local time on Monday when an engine caught fire, the FAA said in a statement. There were no initial reports of injuries. The fire was contained and is out, a spokesperson for the Orlando airport said, adding that fire crews are on the scene. According to Delta, the plane, an Airbus 330, had 282 passengers, 10 flight attendants, and 2 pilots on board. The airline said crews evacuated the cabin when flames were seen in the tailpipe of one of the plane's two main engines. Passengers have returned to the terminal building, and Delta said it will bring an additional aircraft to help them get on their way. Bro, you gotta get a free flight for that, right? Like, they gotta refund your shit, right? Because that's a huge delay, and I kind of almost died. That would be pretty shitty. So, yeah, I wonder. I haven't looked into, like, what's the comp there. But, yeah, you better at least. God damn. Anyway, we are almost wrapped up. We have one more story to cover before we close it out. We gotta get religious. It's a bit of a RIP, if you will. But yeah, we gotta hop in the mobile and ride this one out. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break and close it. Whoa, mama. Oh, I'm trying. I'm trying not to cough. Keep it together. I failed. Mission failure. Okay. Excuse me. From USA Today. Pope Francis died of a stroke and irreversible heart failure, Vatican says. Pope Francis, 88, a humble reformer who sought to make the Catholic Church more inclusive and clashed with world leaders over the rights of immigrants, died Easter Monday following a lengthy bout of double pneumonia, the Vatican said. It's crazy he had just did like Easter service or whatever, and then he just died. Like, I was like, it was either me chilling at home when I read the news or I like just got home and I was like, damn, Pope just fucking died. I literally heard he was just doing a thing. Like, but I mean, also it adds up. I mean, he's been sick. I don't think I covered it because, I mean, I hate to say that this is a bit morbid, but I was like, I'm not going to get into this unless he croaks. And he did. Now, that being said, he has been called the woke Pope, because of his attempt to be inclusive, He is willing to, talk about, gay rights or at least gay people as people and not just some, blobby nebulous thing. And I think that's something that's appreciated by a lot of people. He made a lot of effort, was willing to butt heads with world leaders. I mean, hell, what was it? JD Vance had came to visit, and I think he more or less wanted to like defend his immigration stance, but also keep his Catholic bona fides. And this is why he wanted to like schmooze with the Pope. But the best he got was a handshake. And I will say there's a picture of it, of JD Vance and the Pope. And it looks like the Pope is like very aware, like too aware, like scary aware. So who knows? I don't want to make any speculations on who did what. I'll stop right there. We're going to say that it was probably the pneumonia, right? And then the heart stuff. JD Vance has nothing to do with that, of course. He would never. I mean, sure, he's like fumbled, an Ohio State, trophy, he fucked that up, he's an evil, cold-hearted person, but like, I mean, I'm surely he wouldn't do that, right? Surely, he's a good guy, of course. Good guy, hillbilly elegy, JD Vance, he would never, ever. No, I mean, I'm not too surprised about this. And also, yes, I'm giving him props. And it's like, oh, Isaiah, you're being so morbid. You're being a little crass. And this isn't some guy. Like, you literally just said he's a good guy. But it's like, he also was the Pope. He also still, like, was anti-abortion. He was still, like, along these kind of guidelines and, like, shit. He wasn't that flexible at the end of the day. It's not like he reformed Catholicism and then made it better. He just had some, like, cool takes every once in a blue moon. Also, he had to kind of face some of the music for some of the child abuse that has been pretty prolific. And we've covered a little bit of that over time. Granted, it might not have been directly, like, on his watch, but at the same time, like, it was like, at the end of the day, he's supposed to be the one handling this stuff, and like when he hears about it, he should be bringing it to light, not letting the law take its course or whatever the fuck, right? Like, you'd think these motherfuckers below him, when he finds out about this, they should lose their jobs immediately, right? Like, so there's ickiness to this, right? It's just like a president, you know what I mean? I used to love Barack Obama all the time. I was a big fan. I would I'd take a bullet for that guy. Dick riding for Obama. Like, I was down, but like, you when you realize and you look at especially post the terms, you look at all of the stuff he did, and you look at all of the stuff he didn't fucking do, and everything in between, and you go, yeah, no, this guy was a president. This guy is a piece of shit all the goddamn same, and now what does he do? Does some Netflix shit. He fucking pals around with Bruce Springsteen. Oh, we're a couple of renegades on a podcast. He doesn't do shit. I don't give a fuck about his playlist. He couldn't even get Kamala Harris elected. So what is he to anybody? Like, all these motherfuckers to me, whether you're the coolest guy ever or not, you take this role and now you are this organization. You're the face of it. And more times than not, you do what you do to preserve this said organization. And this isn't me, once again, being like, well, now I'm poking at Catholicism, because y'all know I used to be very religious, not Catholic. That's a lot of rules. I was non-denominational, but I understand it. I get it. I do. There are good things in religion. I know there's so many people that are quick to bleh, bleh, bleh. Religion's so bad. It's so fucked up. It's evil. It only does bad. Like, I disagree with that. I take pause with that. I think all religions have good in it. There's definitely something to pull from it. There's definitely something to learn. There's definitely something to grow with. There's like community you can make. It's just hard because at the end of the day, no matter what the religion is, it's an organization. It's filled with people, and people will do bad. They'll do fucked up shit. They'll abuse their power, and that is an inevitable thing. It doesn't matter whether we're talking Catholicism, whatever. Insert group here. It's all a cult at the end of the day. One way or another. So at the end of the day, I'm talking long here, but R.I.P. I'll say that much. You know what I mean? I won't give this guy the Rumsfeld treatment, but I'm also not gonna shed any tear. And we'll see who the next one is, because now we got a whole conclave situation. That's going to be coming up. There's going to be some cardinals, and they're going to be doing some voting or whatever. I think there's going to be like a little smoke show from a chimney or something. I don't fucking know. We've done these before, but I don't care that much to really remember. And I mean, hell, there was a whole movie that came out, and I didn't watch it. I'm not that enthralled by this shit, y'all. What can I say? I'm going to keep it a buck. But yeah, that's it. That's really it. Amen. That's the episode. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. You can tithe to this church. I'm not a church. I'm just a podcaster. But I mean, hey, it's $5. It's about a cup of coffee. A kind of pricey cup of coffee, but a cup of coffee no less. It does help out. I give you the shout out at the top of the month. That's a thing. I don't mention that enough, but I don't know if that matters to too many people. Plug a project or whatever if you like that too. I can do a baby cameo for you, a little amateur style cameo. Hi, what's up? I don't know if you want that. But no, it really is just a tip jar. So that's the thing. But it's much appreciated. Helps out the effort, like I said. What else do we talk about here? Freeways, hit me up. Isaiah News. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. You can send feedback that way. I don't know. Hopefully never send me any like weird legal stuff. I don't want to deal with that, but I guess you can send it there. Freeways, any of the socials, Meta, X, all those. Find me on the internet. You can find me or the podcast there. Another free way to help out the effort, also kind of keeping it semi-social, the YouTube. Subscribe. TikTok, follow. Spotify, you can follow me there. Even Apple Podcast. All those things, you hit that follow button, keeps up with me, helps my algorithm, especially for the YouTube. It's really great there. Comments are useful. Likes are super useful. I've definitely noticed that like whenever you get those pings, then you see usually a little bit more activity. It's like a little ripple effect. Not always, but it does help, and the more, the better. So, and it is what it is. I also have to add that, like, even if you just listen, even if you don't hear this right now, and you just tuned in for, like, a minute or so, and you hopped off, you know what I mean? You're a clicker. I call that those are the clickers. There's lurkers who just hang out, they don't comment, and that's okay. I love them, too. I just appreciate you being a part of this. It means a lot. It means the world to me that you do. So, yeah, I mean, just Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.